In today's video, we're going to answer 3 really commonly asked questions. Number 1, how up or down should I hold the golf club? Number 2, how much shaft lean should or shouldn't I have on the golf club? And number 3, how far away or how close should I stand to the golf ball? So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Now the first question we're going to answer is, how up or down do I have the golf club? And with this particular instance, with this particular question, there isn't a one-size-fits-all answer. There is a spectrum, and it's important to know what this spectrum is all about and how moving from one end of the spectrum to another can actually influence the ball flight, and in turn you can link that to what you're seeing or what you want to see. So what that spectrum is, if you can see a laser beam coming up from the butt end of the golf club here, the spectrum is between the belt buckle and your belly button. There isn't a one-size-fits-all, like I say, but I never really like golf clubs to be sat higher or lower than that kind of gap there. Now, the biggest thing that handle height typically changes is the lie of the golf club. And this has a very big influence on where that golf ball goes. So when the handle goes fractionally lower, this will influence the golf club to sit more upright. So the toe of the golf club will sit higher up into the air. And that will influence the golf ball to start more to the left as a right-handed golfer. And not only will it influence the start direction of the golf ball, but will actually influence the golf ball to curve slightly more to the left as well. With an average 7-iron, a stat says that for every degree difference there is in your lie angle will actually influence the golf ball to start 3 yards offline, and in turn it can curve more as well. So if you're someone, let's say, with a bit of a slice pattern and you're seeing this butt end of the golf club sit quite high up, then you might want to think about nudging that thing down a little bit and get it closer towards your belt buckle to look to change the start direction, maybe influence a little bit of curvature from there as well. By the same measure, if we have the golf club too low down, then we can see the golf grip be quite in the fingers. And as a result, because we have quite a lot of angle here in the wrist because of that low setup, I can get very wristy, very kind of hooky, and sometimes I can see too much of a hook bias if the golf club sits too below that belt buckle as a baseline. So that's number 1. Number 2, as the golf club sits slightly higher up, so let's say it's more towards the belly button or slightly above that, opposite to when the handle is down low, this is going to influence the golf club to be much flatter. So in turn, as a right-handed golfer, it's going to influence the start line of the golf ball to be a little bit more to right, and in turn it can influence the golf ball to fade off a little bit from there as well. So again, if you're someone who struggles with kind of hooks, and you might even see some fat ones in there, if you've got the golf club really down low, get yourself on camera. If that's kind of below the belt buckle, then you want to get that thing up a little bit higher. Feel like that button of the golf club is facing a little bit more towards the belly button. It's going to bring back the start direction, and it's really going to help you manage your curvature if it's too much to the left from there as well. For you guys who go too excessive, so you go outside of the spectrum of height, this in turn can also influence the wrist to sit quite kind of straight. The grip can get very in the palm, and you can see all sorts of reduction in wrist mobility. You might see some breakdown in the arm as a result of poor wrist mobility as well, and it can cause all sorts of issues from there. So the main thing I would take away when it comes to handle height is predominantly how it affects the lie of the golf club and how it can be linked to your ball flight. So I use it as a checkpoint. If you're someone who sees too much curvature to the right, just check that this button of the golf club isn't facing too much towards your belly button and definitely not too high up. You might want to nudge that down a little bit, and I'd expect that to really help you with the curvature control big time, especially, or conversely, for you guys who are hookers of the ball, if that golf club is too towards the belt buckle, and definitely if it's too low down, then again, feel like it's a little bit higher towards that belly button from there, and that's really going to help you start to manage that curvature much better. The next 2 things we're going to look at is shaft lean and distance from the ball. Now, a really good way to get shaft lean is dead simple. If you chuck yourself a golf club down, so let's say you see this yellow line here, that would be my golf club, that would be my ball position, and then once you get set up, get yourself another golf club, or I've got a stick here, and just place this in between the ball position and your left ankle. When you get set up, wherever your hands sit, you want your hands to be sitting on that white line that I've just put down there, because a shaft lean is always relative to our left armpit. So this stick here is referencing our left armpit. So wherever the golf ball goes, whether it goes back, whether it goes forwards, if I keep that same idea in mind, that's it going forwards, that's it going back, it's always going to be relative to my left armpit. So having a visual down there, a stick, with that stick there, is really going to help you reference as to where shaft filling is. And it's simple as that, really. Always off the left armpit. So chuck something down, that's going to give you a visual. Understand what it feels like to get the hands in the right place. And we're in a pretty good spot from there. So now that you understand handle height and which side of the spectrum you might want to lean a little bit more towards, now that we understand shaft lean and where we kind of want to be sitting that, the final part of this is distance away from the ball. And again, distance is dead easy. If you get yourself set up to the ball, so I chuck my ball down here, okay, and I just take my, once I'm comfortable, right hand off the golf club, I want this right hand to be able to slot just nicely in between my button of the golf club and my thigh. I don't want to make space for it. I don't want loads of space at the same time. And I wouldn't want the right hand to be hitting the golf club without moving it. So get yourself set up. Can I just let the right hand just pass free in between that gap? If I'm too close, shimmy yourself backwards. If there's too much space, then obviously shimmy yourself forwards. So just to recap that, handle height, very closely linked to the lie of the golf club and the curvature of the ball flight that you're seeing. If there's a little bit too much fade, think about notching it down a little bit. A little bit too much draw, think about bumping it up a little bit. That's our number one. Then once we got that, shaft lean. Shaft lean is always off our left armpit, so the stick is down there for me here to understand that. So hands in a good position there. Just double check my distance. Once I've got those keys, I'm in a pretty good place to go ahead and hit one. Have any questions? Feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section down below, or drop me a follow on my socials. For any online or in-person coaching, drop me a follow on the SKILLEST app, search David Atkins and drop me a message from there. But until next time, catch you on the next one.